We're going to begin our Yom HaShoah memorial service with the Jewish War Veterans Honor Guard.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rabbi Feshbach? Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Please join me together for the second and third paragraphs. We must remember the atrocities committed against our people, the murder of 6 million men, women, and children. We must remember the communities, synagogues, ideas, dreams, vision, hope, and faith that died along with our slaughtered brethren. By remembering, we keep our people alive. By remembering, we demonstrate our resilience as a people. By remembering, we give honor to the victims of the Holocaust. We fulfill one of the highest mitzvot, to care and pray for the dead. By voicing our sadness and anger at the atrocities our innocent brethren endured, we call ourselves and others to action. By voicing our opposition to hatred, we stand against prejudice and anti-Semitism. By acting in memory of those murdered, we begin to heal the brokenness of our world and to create a new beginning. The poem, "Unto Every Person There Is a Name," immortalizes the names of those stripped of their identities and slaughtered, and gives us the opportunity to complete the work of Tikkun Olam.
Each of us has a name given by the source of life and given by our parents. Each of us has a name given by our stature and our smile, and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given by the mountains and given by our walls. Each of us has a name given by the stars and given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name given by our sins and given by our longings. Each of us has a name given by our enemies and given by our love. Each of us has a name given by our celebrations and given by our work. Each of us has a name given by the seasons and given by our blindness. Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death.
We'll now have the candle lighting. Please come forward, Tracy Goldberg, Molly Golubko, Shannon Gross, Barbara Roth, Henry Roth, and Ellen Wetzel. These are all members of the second generation after the Shoah, and we're honoring our surviving survivors, Donald Berkman, Ida Belchowski, Inga Fixler, Sophia Folis, Sonia Kaplan, Mike Kleidermacher, Laura Oberlander, Rosalie Simon, Doris Weiss, and Ruth Zinman. Thank you. Kayla and Taryn McGonigal, please come forward to read Candles of Joy, Candles of Sorrow.
Candles we light wherever we are. Candles for Hanukkah, candles for Shabbat, candles for Havdalah, braided like challah, or candles for pure delight. So many candles. All kinds of shapes, all kinds of colors, all of them candles of joy. Only one candle is right to remember someone who died, a candle for the soul. And more candles we light, in silence and in honor, 6 candles a memorial to the myriads who are gone, 6 million, all of them candles of sorrow.
On behalf of this historic congregation, welcome to Beth Israel. On behalf of the South Jersey Board of Rabbis and Cantors, the Jewish clergy of this community, we stand with the Jewish and general communities on the occasion of this important observance. And in this regard, I bring greetings from the President of the South Jersey Board of Rabbis, Rabbi Abbe Michaleski, the immediate past president, Rabbi Gerald Fox, and the treasurer, Cantor Jackie Menaker, none of whom could be with us tonight. This year, shadows loom, and we feel the weight of the world upon our shoulders. In our community, we feel a sense of loss. Last fall, our community lost a treasure and a light in Gail Rosenthal, about whom you will hear more in a few moments. Just today, we held a funeral for Rabbi Gordon Geller, whose work to bring a Holocaust memorial to the boardwalk of Atlantic City continues as a vision seen but not yet completed. And we know, of course, that this is the first Yom HaShoah observance since the worst attack on Jews since the Shoah itself. The first Yom HaShoah since October 7th and the ongoing aftermath. Shadows loom. We feel the weight of the world upon our shoulders, even now. Rage and recrimination, hate and hurt, and argument. Arguments are everywhere. Even the word genocide, a term we once thought we could agree upon its meaning now is the subject of intense debate, which each opposing side, certain of its own definition, everyone is talking. No one is listening. Where darkness spreads, despair soon follows. As Jews, we are, I speak from the Jewish tradition here, no strangers to arguments. It is said, of course, that where you have two Jews, there are three opinions. Some of these differences are searing, divisive, and difficult. Other arguments may seem more light, but can reveal great truths. One argument I share with you tonight. Our tradition notes that there are not actually 10 commandments, but traditionally in Judaism, 613 commandments, which immediately leads to the question, what's the 614th? On a very serious note, the philosopher and thinker about the implications of the Holocaust, Emil Fackenheim, wrote, apropos of our gathering tonight, that the 614th commandment for Jews is, in your actions, in your Jewish lives, in the choices that you make, thou shalt not give to Hitler a posthumous victory. You shall not be a terminal Jew, the last Jew in your family. You shall keep the flame of our faith and our people alive. The second opinion about the 614th commandment is one which we clearly violate this evening. You shall have no Jewish function without food. Sorry. I want to suggest a third version of a 614th commandment. At a time of darkness and despair, doubt and disagreement, as a Jew, indeed, I hope as a human being, for me, the 614th commandment would be, it is forbidden to give up hope. Hatikva, the hope. It is forbidden to give up hope. We may see God in different ways. There are different views and beliefs between different traditions, and frankly, of course, even within each of our traditions. For me, I close with one vision of God that comes from Psalm 121. Esa einai el heharim, me'ayin yavo Ezri, Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. I lift up my eyes to the heights, to the mountains, to the greatest we can imagine, to the best that is in us. What is the source of our help? Our help will come if we but reach beyond us. There will be an echo, a hint, a resonance, an answer. Our help will come from the universe itself.
Would the students from Kulano School of Jewish Studies please come forward?
As we remember the deaths of our 11 million brothers and sisters, we honor and memorialize them all, Jews and Gentiles, and others who are victims, martyrs, and heroes.
We honor those who died because they were Jews. We honor those who died because they helped Jews, those who died because they resisted the Nazis, and those who died because of their ideals and convictions.
We honor those who were tortured, impoverished, dehumanized, deported, enslaved, and murdered.
No one wanted to believe it. Not Christian, not Jew. For who can confront the terrible reality of the murder of entire people? Who can confront the murder of innocents, murdered only because they were born, murdered as a government policy?
They were murdered while the world was silent. They were murdered while the world pretended not to notice. They were murdered. Most, but not all, there were survivors.
There are survivors of the Holocaust. We know them. They are the parents whose children are gone, and they are the children without parents.
We know them. They are the remnants, no brothers, no sisters, no aunts, no uncles, no grandparents, no cousins, no neighbors, no friends.
We know them, the Holocaust survivors, because they are a part of us. They belong to us. We are all members of a single family, haunted by our shared memories. So many were begrudged their very right to exist, and we were robbed of the gifts that they would have given to humanity. We mourn the blameless murdered, the old and young. We howl the memory of our martyred innocents.
We are honored that the president of Stockton University, Dr. Joe Bertolino, is here to speak with us tonight. Dr. Joe?
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. Before I share the verse that is in your booklets this evening, I've been asked to give a few remarks about Gal Rosenthal. As you know, she was a longstanding member of the Stockton community, but I'd also like to mention that Rabbi Geller, whose life was celebrated today, spent over 30 years at Stockton University as an adjunct. And so we celebrate him and his life, and may his memory be a blessing. I am new to the community. My name is Joe Bertolino, and I am the somewhat new president of Stockton University in my 10th month. And I'm honored to be here with you as we commemorate the lives lost in the Holocaust, the legacy of the survivors, and all those who have been impacted. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be here, and I can't help being reminded of the fact that Gail Hirsch Rosenthal is not here. Her team at the Sara and Sam Schoffer Holocaust Resource Center at Stockton ran this event. So I think it would be fitting for us to remember Gail this evening, as I know this event was close to her heart. Under Gail's careful guidance for more than 3 decades, the Holocaust Resource Center grew to become the thriving educational hub it is today, the largest in New Jersey and internationally recognized. I had the opportunity to meet Gail briefly, very briefly, when I first began my stay at Stockton. She was thrilled and excited to introduce me to the center, to begin to educate me on Jewish life at Stockton. I've heard many stories about Gail, and I do wish that I had the opportunity to spend more time with her. But I can tell you that her student, who is here this evening, Irvin, in the back, her protege, if you will, is our new director of the Holocaust Resource Center at Stockton University. And I know how proud she is of him, and I hope, Irvin, to continue my education through you. So thank you. Through her connections to the community, what began as just a single closet housing oral histories of local Holocaust survivors grew into a reading room then expanded to include 2 classrooms, an exhibit room, and the Holocaust Survivors of South Jersey Research Room. Fittingly, that room now bears Gail's name. Gail played a key role in developing the Holocaust and Genocide Studies minor and the Masters of Arts in Holocaust and Genocide Studies. She was instrumental in raising significant funds and building strong partnerships in support of the center, helping to ensure its long future. I can assure you that Gail managed to ensure that the Holocaust Resource Center and our Holocaust and Genocides Studies programs at Stockton are one of the best in the country. I can assure you that she was always proud, would be proud, and will continue to be proud of the work that we are engaged in at the university. I was humbled simply being in her presence, though one could not get a word in edgewise. Among the many milestones reached under her leadership and the naming of the Center for the Schoffer family in 2009, the opening of the permanent exhibit in the Schibbel and Hugenberg Righteous Remembrance Room, the launch of the Holocaust Survivors of South Jersey Project, and so many, many more. And on top of all of that, she worked to grow the center. She was particularly devoted to our survivors in the region. This evening is evidence of that. With Gail's support and leadership, this event has been the largest gathering of community members to remember the 6 million Jews murdered in the Holocaust and the survivors who reside here in South Jersey. Gail's legacy is a testament to her love for her students, her devotion to survivors, and the powerful importance of continuing to educate future generations about anti-Semitism and the lessons learned from the Holocaust. We are deeply committed to this work at Stockton, and we carry on in Gail's memory. And she did love her students and cared deeply advocating for her survivors. My own relationship with Gail, as I said, was too far short, but it was immensely meaningful. She has left an indelible mark on our community and will forever be remembered as someone whose heart beat for something bigger than herself. She always told her students, one person can make a difference. Gail certainly did. May her memory be a blessing. For these do I weep, and for the millions crowded in ghettos and in detention camps, for those wandering in forests and those hidden in attics and in the underground bunkers, for those who found refuge in the bosom of another faith or who lost their God, for those who were given over to experiments at the hands of wild beasts called doctors and scientists, for those who died of hunger and of thirst, smothered to death in freight trains or in gas chambers, shot, buried, alive, or cremated, for those who were brought out to be killed by hanging so that they would be seen, and for those who sanctified God's name and the name of the people Israel, refusing to be subdued, fighting to the death, for those who lost their homes, their dignity, and their hope, and for those who left alive to live the horror anew, day after day, moment after moment. For these do I weep, for infants who never learned to say mommy, for boys and girls whose youth was stolen from them, who withered before coming to blossom, for young men and women who never were blessed beneath the wedding canopy, for the elderly denied the privilege of a gracious old age, for the orchestras and for the music, and for all the world's beauty, whose rainbow of colors was lost, replaced by only brown and gray and black. For all of these do I weep.
The commander of the Jewish war veterans, Marty Ross, will read Eisenhower as witness.
Eisenhower as a witness. I have never felt able to describe my emotional reactions when I first came face to face with the indisputable evidence of Nazi brutality and ruthless disregard of every shred of decency. I visited every nook and cranny of the camp because I felt it my duty to be in a position from then on to testify firsthand about these things in case there ever grew up at home the belief of an assumption that the stories of Nazi brutality were just propaganda. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander, Allied Forces, Europe, in a letter to Chief of Staff General George C. Marshall on April 12, 1945.
We will now hear from the co-president of the Jewish Federation of Atlantic and Cape May Counties, Nancy Rubin.
Celebrating leadership during the Shoah, the rescue efforts of Bolivia during the Holocaust. During this year's Yom HaShoah service, we will be listening to the testimony of Holocaust survivor Mike Kleidermacher. After the Holocaust, Mike and his family found refuge in the highland country of Central South America, Bolivia, a country with rich indigenous cultures, dramatic mountain ranges, and emerald rainforests teeming with life. In stark contrast to many countries during the Holocaust, Bolivia emerged as an unexpected haven for persecuted Jews. Recognizing the plight of European Jews facing Nazi persecution, the Bolivia government, encouraged by leadership of German Jewish mining magnate Moritz Hochschild, actively facilitated the rescue of Jews between 1938 and 1941. While Bolivia was not without its challenges, it offered a vital refuge during the dark period in history. Bolivia admitted approximately 20,000 Jews, a remarkable contrast to other nations around the world. After World War II, many Jewish refugees eventually emigrated to other countries, including the United States. However, it is important to remember the various ways people and governments resisted or rescued during the Holocaust. Bolivia's story reminds us that there were countries and individuals who rescued during the Holocaust and stood out as beacons of light amid darkness.
Stockton University student, minor in Holocaust and Genocide Studies, and an intern at the Sara and Sam Schoffer Holocaust Resource Center, Abby Nemaz will read The Butterfly.
The last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzlingly yellow, perhaps if the sun's tears would sing against a white stone. Such a yellow is carried lightly, way up high. It went away, I'm sure, because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. For 7 weeks I've lived in here, penned up inside this ghetto, but I have found my people here. The dandelions called to me, and the white chestnut candles in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. That butterfly was the last one. Butterflies don't live in here, in the ghetto.
The very last, so swiftly shining brightly yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears would sing against the white stone. Such a yellow is carried lightly way up high. It went away, I'm sure, because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. The dandelions called to me, and the white chestnut candles in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. That butterfly was the last one. Butterflies don't live here in the ghetto. I never saw another butterfly.
Please, as however you are able in mind, body, or spirit, rise for the memorial prayer.
El male rachamim, shochen b'meromim, hamitzei menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, v'malot kroshim u'tahorim, kezohar rakia mazhirim, לנשמות 6 מיליוני אחינו בני ישראל הקדושים והטהורים חללי השואה שנפלו בידי הרוצחים הנאצים בעוזריהם ונשפך דמם Auschwitz, Belzec, Bergen-Belsen, Dachau, Mauthausen, Majdanek, Sobibor, Treblinka, ובגטאות של ביאליסטוק, בקורקוב, לובלין, מינסק, וילנה, ורשה. ובשאר מחנות השמיד באירופה שנהרגו ושנשחטו, שנשרפו ושנחנקו על קידוש השם, בעבור שאנו מתפילים ועד הזכרת נשמותיהם. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסירם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרוח החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבותיהם, ונאמר Amen. O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant perfect rest in your divine presence to all of the souls of our holy and pure brethren who died at the hands of the murderers in the camps. Auschwitz, Birkenau, Belzec, Bergen-Belsen, Dachau, Majdanek, Mauthausen, Sobibor, and Treblinka. In the ghettos of Bialystok, Krakow, Lodz, Lvov, Lublin, Minsk, Vilna, and Warsaw, and other death camps and ghettos throughout Europe, who were buried alive, burned, strangled, slaughtered for the sanctification of your name, and whose souls we now pray. Master of mercy, envelop them in the shelter of your wings for eternity. May their souls thus be bound up in the bond of life so that they may ever rest in peace, as we all again say, Amen. You may be seated. Oh, you may remain standing. My apologies.
We remember our brothers and sisters who perished because of our inhumanity to one another. We are grief-stricken, recalling those who, in their youth, in old age, were cut down by the vicious hand of evil. We turn to God and to one another for comfort as we mourn and for strength as we persevere. Through the ancient words of the mourner's Kaddish, sanctifying God's name, we affirm our bond with those we have lost. Together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Israel, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'le'omei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemeh dekudesha b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alema v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated.
Welcome. I'm Rona Zucker-Kaplan, a member of the Sara and Sam Schoffer Holocaust Resource Center Executive Committee. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for participating. You should know that this event is being recorded by Stockton's media production team. Some of you may become TikTok stars. It will be available on the Resource Center website by the end of this week. Beginning tonight, continuing until the end of this week, Channel 9, the Stockton channel, will be dedicated to showing Holocaust education and remembrance programming. In your brochure, you have the schedule. Watch the programs, tell your friends, tell your family, watch the programs. Before we begin and continue to commemorate the past, we must focus a little on the present. We have heard that a pillar of our community, Rabbi Gordon Geller, passed away last week. And I ask all of you, in his memory, do a random act of kindness. Honor him that way. As for our larger Jewish community in Israel, the U.S., and on college campuses,
We're watching history repeat itself. Be vigilant, be alert, be informed. Educate yourselves and educate others. But don't be idle. Don't stand by. Tonight we're here to celebrate the Kleidermacher family. Mike Kleidermacher's family survived the Holocaust, and he's going to tell us how. His parents, Samuel and Milka, married in 1939 in Sarnaki, Poland. That same year, Germany invaded Poland, and they fled east across the Bug River to Belarus, then controlled by the Soviets. 3 years later, Mike was born, November 11th, 1942. After the family survived the war, they went home to Sarnaki, but like in so many other towns, they were not welcomed. They found temporary shelter in a displaced persons camp in Munich, Germany. And in 1947, the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, known as the Joint, obtained Bolivian visas for them, and they arrived in Bolivia in 1947. Mike stayed 9 years until 1956, and in 1957, he immigrated to Brooklyn, New York, where he attended the yeshiva and then CCNY. Mike married Linda. They had 5 children and 8 grandchildren. In 1990, after 48 years as an electrical engineer, Mike and Linda chose our community, and they moved to Margate. Latin America admitted 84,000 Jewish refugees. Bolivia was a lifeline. Listen to Mike's testimony. Not many of us, if any, have heard from a survivor who immigrated from Bolivia. Remember Mike's testimony. Elie Wiesel believed firmly and profoundly that whoever listens to a witness becomes a witness. Wiesel said, "Those who hear us, those who read us, must continue to bear witness for us." You're going to hear Mike's testimony, then the responsibility is yours. Tell a story again and again and again. L'ador vador, from generation to generation. Mike?
Good evening. A couple of years ago, Gail Rosenthal, of blessed memory, the former director of Stockton's Holocaust Resource Center, told me I had a story to tell. I'm honored to be here with you this evening to tell you about my family's story of surviving the Holocaust. As a Holocaust survivor, and especially since October 7th, 2023, I know that the story of my family is more important than ever. It is one of survival and triumph over unimaginable adversity. The Nazis did not win. I was just a child during the war, and now I'm one of the few left to remember what happened. While first-hand experiences are rapidly dwindling and will soon cease to exist, I hope that my presence and words here today will help to ensure that the truths of the horrors and our lessons learned from them will, with your help, always endure. Both my parents were born in Sarnaki, Poland, at the eastern border of Russia, near Ukraine. Soon after they met, they married in 1939, just as the dark clouds of World War II descended upon Europe. Shortly after their marriage, my parents, along with one of my father's brothers, and his family made a difficult and life-changing decision to flee Poland and seek refuge in the East, and decided to settle in Georgia, where I was born. However, fate had other plans, and soon they found themselves forcibly relocated by the Soviet regime to Siberia, on cramped wagons and cattle cars with hundreds of strangers. These horrific transports were constantly attacked by bombs. Once in Siberia, there were 3 families to one barrack, which consisted of one bed and little else. Food was very scarce. Digging through garbage to eat was common. Due to malnutrition, many mothers couldn't nurse their babies, and my mama was able to nurse other starving babies. My first cousin Dave, who was there with us and is now 92, describes the conditions as very brutal, with a constant specter of death. Miraculously, despite the odds, my family emerged from the depths of Siberia, battered but unbroken. Returning to Poland after the war, around late 1945, my family was confronted with the stark reality of their losses. My mother lost her entire family, 3 sisters, 1 brother, and both her parents murdered by the Nazis in Treblinka. My father mourned the loss of 6 brothers, 1 twin sister, and his parents. 5 brothers survived. Can you imagine years of surviving your own horrors only to confront the fact that your entire family had been murdered? Of course, we soon learned that our family's devastation was the same throughout the Jewish communities of Poland and elsewhere in Europe, and that the survival of my immediate family was incredibly lucky and rare. I never met either set of grandparents, and the memory of them is a single picture of my grandparents on my mother's side. I do not have a picture of my grandparents on my father's side. I never knew any of my extended family, in-laws, or cousins. The once thriving village of Sarnaki lay in ruins, dramatic testimony to the devastation wrought by war. To make matters worse, my family faced hate and hostility from the ethnic Poles. As we attempted to visit our homes and potentially reclaim some of our possessions, we were physically attacked and forced to flee once more in the dead of night. The United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration Agency finally arranged for our safe passage on a train to a displaced persons camp in Munich, Germany, under American jurisdiction. We left Munich, Germany in 1947 and settled in La Paz, Bolivia, with the help of a second cousin who emigrated there before the war. In La Paz, Bolivia, we found a supportive Jewish community, and my father was able to earn a meager living in his trade as a tailor. Though it was a Christian country, we were accepted, and finally life was relatively peaceful and safe. We had very few anti-Semitic incidents, except for the few occasions when we were told that we, the Jews, killed Christ. I was 5 years old when we arrived in La Paz, and I learned to speak Spanish quickly, and as you can see, I have proudly retained my accent. At the ripe old age of 14, I left La Paz. My parents sent me by myself to study in a yeshiva in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York. My mother's only advice to me when I left was, Moshe, geh ver a mensch. Go become an outstanding person, implying one we can be proud of. My parents did not come to the States until 3 years later, in 1960, along with my sister Rose and my brother Enoch. My sister soon married and had 3 children and now has 9 grandchildren. My brother also married and had 2 children and now has 3 grandchildren. I married young and had 3 beautiful children, and later remarried, which added 2 stepchildren to the clan. I have 8 grandchildren, all doing well, Baruch Hashem. Though I came to the States initially by myself, I felt my parents' presence. They guided me, gave me strength and motivation to become a good, outstanding person, and I believe I did. I left rabbinical studies and graduated from the City College of New York as an electrical engineer. I had a progressive career for 48 years, starting with RCA in Camden, New Jersey. All 5 of my kids and grandchildren are successful, and most importantly, good, upstanding people. I can say the same thing for the families of my sister and brother. I reflect how much one family who survived could contribute to society, and mourn how much the world could have benefited from the countless families whose futures were snuffed out. As a family, we believed in moving forward, not back. My mother never, ever talked about the Holocaust. Even when we asked, she refused to talk about it, but once in a while, she would sing us Yiddish songs about her life in Europe. My father, who became a tailor at age 10, never retired, but continued to create women's clothing until the end. He always proudly provided for his family. This is what drove him. By example, we were taught to be productive and do good. The legacy of my family's experience continues to inspire our children and grandchildren. I'm very proud that after the hell we endured, our family and the overwhelming majority of Holocaust survivors became highly productive citizens. And to their credit, they resisted expressions of hatred and revenge. Remembering the Holocaust that was fueled by anti-Semitism, racism, and other forms of hatred helps us recognize and challenge these prejudices in our own world. I hope my life story, my family's life story, like many other, yet very far too few Holocaust stories of survival, will continue to remind all of us how much we cherish peace, tolerance, and love, and drive back the winds of racism and hate wherever they may rise.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Sam Woodford, Stockton University student with a minor in Jewish Studies and an intern at the Sara and Sam Schoffer Holocaust Resource Center.
On April 19, 1943, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising began. The ghetto fighters were able to resist for nearly 1 month. News of the resistance traveled to the Vilna ghetto, where the Vilna poet and underground fighter Hilsh Gilk wrote the Yiddish song, the existing music by the Soviet composer Dmitry Pogras, Vog nit kin mol. The song became the anthem for the Jewish partisans.
Before I Okay. Hirsch Glick, the author of this poem, was a Vilna partisan, And in July 1944, he went on his last road. He escaped the ghetto and never was seen again or heard about again. But he left this song, as it says in its words, as a password for generations to come. And there are many powerful renditions of these songs. The one that always sends shivers down my spine is by the great African-American singer Paul Robeson, that he sang in Moscow in 1949 amidst the rampant state anti-Semitic campaign and the new Holocaust being in planning. When Jews were accused, Jewish doctors were accused of poisoning leaders of Communist Party, when Jews were pronounced to be ruthless cosmopolitans and hostile element. And Paul Robeson sang it in solidarity with Soviet Jewry and in defense with Soviet authorities. And today, if you indulge me, I'm going to dedicate this song also to the hostages in the tunnels of Gaza, and hope that one day, like this song says, one day soon they will be able to say, "Anachnu po, mir seinen do, we are here, and be back home." And I will sing one verse in Hebrew. Please rise. Sag nicht kein Mal, als du gehst dem letzten Weg. Хоть Himmeln bleiene verstellen bleie Tag. Kommen wird noch unser ausgebänkte Schor. Es wird erbeugt an unser Trott, mir seinen do. Kommen wird noch unser ausgebänkte Schor. Es wird erbeugt an unser Trott, mir seinen do. Von grünem Palmenland bis weißem Land von Schnee. Wir kommen an mit unser Pein, mit unser Weh. Und wo gefallen ist ein Spritz von unser Blut, sprotzen dort und unser Bure, unser Mut. Und wo gefallen ist ein Spritz von unser Blut, sprotzen wird dort unser Bure, unser Mut. Al natomar hinederki achrona, et or hayom yistiru shmei hanana, ze yom yifsach nolod yalve yavo, umitzadeinu od yarim anachnu bo, ze yom nichsaf nolod yalve yavo, umitzadeinu od yarim anachnu bo. Mir seinen do, anachnu po.
Let's read the partisan song in English. It's at the bottom of page 12. Never say that you have reached the final road when leaden clouds hide the open sky, because the time we long for will certainly come. Our voice will sound loud. Here we are. From tropical lands to the distant snow-covered plain, we are coming on with suffering and pain, and wherever a drop of our blood was spilled, our strength and power there will swell. And now for the passing of the legacy. I would like to come forward Shannon Gross, Tracy Goldberg, Melissa Goldstein, Sophie Goldstein, Trey Goldstein, and Mike Kleidermacher. And while they are coming forward, we would like to honor the survivors who are here with us tonight, Hilda Lukowitz, Laura Oberlander, and Mike Kleidermacher. Are there any other survivors in attendance? Fourth generation? You may go.
We affirm our commitment to the State of Israel and to furtherance of Jewish life in our homeland. We pledge ourselves to the oneness of Jewish people. We are your children. We are here.
We shall teach our children to preserve forever that uprooted Jewish spirit which could not be destroyed. We shall tell the world of the depths to which humanity can sink and the heights which were attained even in hell itself. We shall fight anti-Semitism and all forms of racial hatred by our dedication to freedom throughout the world. We pledge to remember.
We are the first generation born after the darkness. Though our parents' memories and silence, we are linked to that annihilated Jewish existence whose echoes permeate our consciousness. We dedicate this pledge to you, our parents, who suffered and survived, to our grandparents who perished in the flames, to our vanished brothers and sisters, more than 1 million Jewish children so brutally murdered, to all 6 million whose unyielding spiritual and physical resistance, even in the camps and ghettos, exemplifies our people's commitment to life. We pledge to remember.
Holocaust survivors, please rise if able, recite and remain standing. We, the living survivors, entrust the legacy of the Shoah to you, our children and grandchildren, and all those who have come after the fire. We want you to vow to that the sacred memory of our suffering and our martyrdom shall never be scorned or erased. We want you to recall the heroism of Jewish resistance. Remember the shining examples of sacrifice and kindness from the righteous Gentiles. Remember the racial prejudice and discrimination that led to the Holocaust. By not forgetting, you will pay tribute to those who were destroyed. By not forgetting, you will ensure for those who live and for those who are yet to be born that we intend never to allow such inhumanity to happen again. This is the heritage we, the survivors, entrust to your custody for safekeeping for all generations to come.
We accept the obligation of this legacy.
The words are from Psalm 118. The melody is by Rabbi Deborah Sachs-Mintz. Min ha-metzar karatia anani v'merchavia min ha-metzar karatia anani v'merchavia. We are in dire straits, Holy One. Respond to us generously, O Divine One. We are not strangers to circumstances such as these. Our parents, our grandparents can attest to that. You know it well, O Timeless One. You know, too, that we are not reticent. We cry out. We call upon you, we ask, we beseech you as we have throughout the ages, help us, Help us again. Support us again. Shine your light of commonality, of humanity among all your creations. And yet again we request, we plead, that you work with us to maintain faith in our covenant, to renew our capacity for compassion. We fear for our young ones, that they not be swayed by cynical suasions, that they keep faith with our people, that they believe in our history, our yearnings, that they appreciate our successes. We take upon ourselves the responsibility to teach them, to support them, to guide them with all our heart and soul, with all we know, and with everything we can bring to these vital efforts. Min hametzar karatiya, anani vamerchavya. We are in dire straits, Holy One. Respond to us generously, O Divine One. Help us turn the metzar, this constriction, into a merchav, an expansive space for living in harmony. Tzeitchem l'shalom. Go in peace. Go toward peace. Please rise.
Please join us in God Bless America.
We'll now have the retiring of the colors. Thank you for remembering the Holocaust.